G'day guys and girls, just a nice short easy video for you today. Now I'm going to be showing you how to set the gap on the electrode on spark plugs. A lot of people think that when you buy a spark plug brand new in the box that the gap on it is already set. Well, it is usually, but it's only set to 1mm. Now if your particular vehicle needs a different size gap, and most vehicles do, for example, the vehicle I'm working on today needs a gap of 0.8mm instead of the 1mm, which is the factory setting. Putting this in the vehicle without setting the gap, where it's already set to 1mm and I only need 0.8 means that the gap is 20% out from where the factory settings would like it to be, and that would greatly change the amount of fuel that's used, acceleration response, and it's just too far off from what the factory settings suggest. So all I'm going to be doing is setting the gap. I've got this little gap setting tool here. This has simply cost me $1 from Supercheap Auto here in Australia, and it's about the size of a 50-cent coin, and you can even carry it on your keychain with your other keys. I use this probably at least once a week, so I carry it around with me. And so today on these particular spark plugs, we're going to be changing the factory gap from 1mm to 0.8, which is the next one. So there's 1mm and there's 0.8. So we're going to be shrinking down the gap in the electrode simply by inserting the edge of this tool and tapping it down to make it 0.8 If we needed to make it bigger, some vehicles I've had have a setting of 1.3, 0.9 is a common one, 1.1 is another common size. Well, we can do it with this. Now, if you're wondering how important is it, just like I said, going from 1mm down to 0.8 is a difference of 20%. And for example, going from say 1mm up to 1.3mm is a difference of 30%. So it is essential that you set the gap correctly. So to set the actual gap, I'm going to look on here. I'll just show you straight out of the box. I move this along till it becomes snug, and there she is. That's where she's snug. You'll see that the gap on that is set to 1.0, and it sits directly in the center of the electrode. I need to bring it down to 0.8 so I'm going to be looking for that setting there when I've tapped it down. So all I basically do, a bit hard one-handed here, or two-handed, but I have a tripod in the way, so I'm just going to bring it down to roughly about 0.8, and I'm just going to give that electrode a light tap with a piece of heavy metal. So I brought it down to 0.9. Now I'm going to tap it down a little bit more with nothing in between. That didn't move at all. So a little bit more forceful with it. I felt that one bend. Okay, so we're getting close to the 0.8. We're currently at about 0.7. So what I'm going to do now is just lift this up slightly to bend that electrode up. I've probably gone just slightly past it, and make sure that it fits, yep, snugly on 0.8 That's all we're doing to set our gap. So we're either tapping the electrode down a little bit, or we're prising the electrode up a little bit to increase or reduce the actual size. Now, so when you buy your spark plugs, and spark plugs are cheap. I mean, these only cost me $4 Australian each. That's like $3 US each. They're not expensive. A set of 6, you know, for about $20 odd, is going to make your car run really well and save you fuel, and you'll get better performance. It's well worth doing every, I don't know, 12 to 24 months at the very latest. And because fuel is expensive and spark plugs are cheap, just find out from your manufacturer or from your local auto store what the gap is that's required for your vehicle. Invest $1 or $2 in one of these, and the whole process is very simple, and you should be able to set all 4, 6 or 8 spark plugs in just a matter of minutes. Okay, hope you've enjoyed that today, and if this has helped you out, please like and subscribe. Okay, see ya.